A very good morning and welcome to Tuesday morning's edition of Newsline. I'm Arundhati Mudannaik and joining me is the senior journalist Firas Chokatali. Good morning, Firas.
Good morning, Arundhati, and how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And as always, we're going to talk about what's happening in the newspapers, what's reported in the newspapers today. And starting off with Daily Mirror, it reads, Ranil Wickremesinghe and Mahinda Rajapaksa in premiership battle. So does this mean Mahinda Rajapaksa is going to be the UPFA candidate for the Prime Ministerial post?
Not at all. There is no requirement to name a Prime Ministerial candidate at this stage, and the President will name the next Prime Minister of Sri Lanka once the polls are over. There is no need to speculate and continue to speculate on these matters right now. There are more other pressing matters at hand.
So one more question in this same story. President Maithripala Sirisena has not yet said anything about Mahinda Rajapaksa's candidacy. Plus, will he be the one to select the candidate, the Prime Minister, if the UPFA wins?
Well, yes, as leader of the party, that task will fall on him as leader of the party. He is also the President of the country who appoints the Prime Minister. He'll do so when the time is right, and he'll make his announcements when the time is right. There is no need to continue the speculation as to why he's given anyone a nomination or not.
Definitely. So the same paper reads, nominations closed. 6,151 submit nominations from 22 political parties and 201 independent groups. And there are over 15 million eligible voters. Now, every paper for us seem to put members of the UNFGG, UPFA and the JVP in their front pages today. So, it seems that these are the major three parties for the election. So, what kind of an impact does the JVP going to make, as the papers seem to put them on the same footing as the other two major parties?
The JVP are perhaps the answer to the people who've been fed up with the broken promises and the abuses of power and corruption and so on. And it's good to have another party so that there is a balancing force. And it's good to be able to give people the choice so they can make a good and informed choice.
So whose voter base are they going to be eating away from?
I think that they will appeal to those people who are rather fed up with the different promises that are not being kept by either of the mainstream parties. And that's where perhaps they'll be getting much of their support from. They promise clean government, and so that may well appeal in this day and age where the people, the public, are very much concerned about having clean government and especially adhering to the March the 12th declaration.
And as I said, there are 6,151 candidates, and of this, who do you think will be the major candidates?
Every single candidate is important, because of the 6,151, 225 will make it to Parliament. And it's very important, so everyone is very important, and the best of the lot will obviously enter Parliament.
And I think we have Professor Rajiv Vijayasinghe joining us over the phone to give us his opinion.
Good morning, Professor Vijayasinghe.
Morning.
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning. Morning.
We'll try
Can you
one
hear
more. Yes, good morning, Professor Vijayasinghe.
Good morning.
And what is your take on these 6,151 candidates for virtually 225 seats in Parliament minus the national list? Give us your take.
Well, it is a complete nonsense, and that is why one of our major pleasures was electoral reform. And I'm extremely sorry that the government did not give it priority, which had been pledged in the President's manifesto. In all fairness, I think the JHU had tried, but, the UNP was adamant. They wanted the election on the current system, and therefore we have this utter mess that we've experienced for the last 35 years.
And you say that it would have been better with the 20th Amendment?
Of course. I mean, that was what was pledged. everyone agreed that the present system is appalling, the preferential system as well. But there was no effort made to change it until, the SRFP said they didn't want to support 19 without the 20th as well. And it's sad that it wasn't made a condition.
And Professor, what's your position? Are you on the list?
I'm on the national list of the UPFA, which in fact we had requested way back in January, before I realized quite how appalling the Ranil Wickremesinghe government was. Because at that stage, I thought they would fulfill the manifesto. And we thought that the social vision of the Liberal Party was more in accord with the UPFA. Because what we didn't want is a sort of, laissez-faire economic system. And I think the central bank bond has shown that we were perfectly right in seeing that the UNP was not regenerated.
Thank you very much, Professor Vijay Singh, for your time.
And moving on, Faraz, in the Daily News we have drama at Felix's house over rejected UPFA candidates. And it also reads, Premajanta admitted to hospital after sudden illness. I'm pretty sure he was under tremendous pressure. And MR pushes for inclusion of Duminda in the UPFA list. So does this mean that all the corruption and other charges that was, that the previous government is facing are going to fall on these 4 rejected candidates, and the others, the alleged suspects, are they going to go free?
Look, it's best, these rejected candidates must obviously be feeling rather dejected today. It's best really to let them be and not waste any more valuable airtime on these. And it's better to focus on the matter in hand, which is the quest to have good, clean, responsible, committed representatives in Parliament. And who adhere to the March the 12th declaration.
Right, and in the Daily FT it says candidates on crusade, and partly Ciampa Quan has been appointed as the UNFGT General Secretary and pledges to continue 8th January struggle. What do you think about this appointment?
Well, only 2 weeks, not 2 weeks ago, Minister Ranaweka was at odds with Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Clearly, political maturity has paved the way, and he has now joined the Prime Minister's party in order to achieve good governance. I believe we have him on the line.
I don't think not yet. So,
okay.
Will Mr. Ciampa Quan continue with his criticisms with certain, points that he was talking about?
We would certainly hope that he does, because he was very vociferous in his condemnation, especially on the matters surrounding the infamous Treasury bond matter, the 30-year Treasury bond. He was very vocal and critical of the Prime Minister, and we would hope that he doesn't push that aside because he's now joined the UNF. But he's obviously joined because he wants to make a difference, and that's very, very encouraging indeed.
So, moving on to another one of the headlines in the Ceylon FT, it says RPCS in magic ₹1,000 a day worker formula.
Well, it's about time that that the estate workers get elevated to a different economic strata. They have for long played a vital role in one of Sri Lanka's most famous and profitable exports, tea. And it is about time that these workers' human rights and economic rights are taken into consideration. It's very important for that, because we mustn't forget that they too play a key and dynamic role in this business, which brings us and has brought us many millions of dollars in foreign exchange.
Well, is this another, election promise for us now that they too play a major role in a voter base?
I would hope not, because in any event, the voters, the votes from these workers tend to go to one party. mainly over the years. They are consistent in their voting pattern. And we would hope that they are not being simply misled with this short-term, that this is not a short-term promise, that this is a long-term, sustainable undertaking as opposed to a promise.
Moving on to the island, it says procession ban a sham. Now, although the Elections Commissioner has banned all political parades, including vehicle parades, we saw almost all political parties violating this law. Will this be the trend in the run-up to the election for us?
It will certainly be the trend, and all the parties and all these contenders, most of them will want to try it on. It will examine and test the mettle of the Elections Commissioner and his commitment to implement these rules and regulations as best he can. It'll be a shame if he doesn't, but it'll be interesting to see how he does it.
Now, on a lighter note, we have the cartoon from Daily Mirror with let me get to that page
Where has the cartoon gone to?
We have a voter in a boat surrounded by sharks. We have and do you think the current voter is feeling like that?
Well, I think the voter must feel like that, certainly. We just hope that then the sharks are always hungry. We just hope that the voters this time round will think before they vote and will vote to elect people who are committed to the best interests of themselves as in the voter and of course in the country. It's very essential that they bear that in mind. Once again, the March 12th Declaration springs to mind.
So definitely there are 6,151 sharks to be precise.
At the moment, they'll be reduced to 225.
In the future, after the election.
Indeed, indeed. Are we having Mr. Ranawika online or
no?
Not
I don't
yet?
think so. I think we can wrap it up with your
thought for the day then.
Yes.
Talking of impunity, I thought this saying is rather interesting. What I fear most is power with impunity. I fear abuse of power and the power to abuse. And on that note, have a good morning.
Thank you, Faraz, for joining us this morning, and thank you for taking your time to, go through the papers with us. And we'll see you again tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a pleasant day ahead of you.